All right, welcome to the first post on the Detroit Beat. A little project I've been kicking around for a little while. And finally, I'm ready to start. Last night on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, Mark Ryan, radio personality from 97.1 The Ticket. And before I even start, Mark is one of the good guys, honestly. He's a really positive force in the sports talk community, where a lot of the personalities are kind of there to I don't know, agitate. It seems like they're loud and boastful and just say things to generate discussion. I think Mark is a more thoughtful character, if you will, in that land, on that platform. So when I discuss this subject, he's been getting a lot of shit on Twitter X regarding his post. I want to preface this by stating that Mark did say at the deadline that he wouldn't have traded anyone. Well, I'll take that back. I don't think he said he wouldn't have traded anyone, but he would have kept the team together for the long run. For the what was not at that time in any way a pennant chase, or not a pennant chase, but a wild card chase, a playoff run. And I understand his reasoning. They were close. I don't remember exactly the record. It wasn't nearly. They weren't 500, obviously. I don't think they would have traded Jack Flaherty, if they were at 500. I think they were 3 or 4 games under. I don't remember exactly. I didn't look it up. I'm just going based off of my memory here. That said, I don't... Oops, I'm sorry. Mic moved a little bit. That said, I don't agree with Mark. Okay? And we didn't know how the season was going to pan out at the deadline. Nobody does. Nobody did. This is all hindsight, right? But when the trade was made, yeah, I was a little sad because I did really love watching Flaherty pitch for the Detroit Tigers. He was a machine for us. That's not debatable. He's the best signing that Scott Harris has made since coming to Detroit. But herein lies the problem. Mark is upset because one of Jack Flaherty's friends stated on his radio show on John Boy Media that Flaherty said he wanted to stay in Detroit. Now, we don't know if this is 100% true or not, okay? This is just something his friend said on a podcast. Now, we'll assume that his friend didn't go into business for himself, and it is true. And it's great that Flaherty says he wanted to stay in Detroit. Doesn't mean that he was going to stay in Detroit. Harris was in a situation where he couldn't do nothing at the deadline like last year when he tried to trade Eduardo Rodriguez to the Dodgers and it blew up in his face. And fans, they picked up their pitchforks and wanted to run him out in his first full season or second full season. Whatever. So Harris was in a pickle, if you will. And he was looking at the long run, of the season. And maybe he just didn't think Flaherty was going to sign. Maybe they had conversations, and he felt that Flaherty wasn't 100% on board to come back next season. Or he was going to want more money than Harris can get from, Chris Ilitch. So he had to do something. And he decided to blow it up. Listen, I hated it too. I hated Flaherty leaving. But I wanted Flaherty to leave instead of Skubal. Okay? That was the deal if they would have traded Skubal, I wouldn't be even talking about the Tigers right now. I would have just done something else, I would have become a Pittsburgh Pirate fan just so I could watch their superstar pitcher Skeens pitch. That's what I would have done. And I'm a Tigers fan since I was born. I was born into this fandom. I had no choice. So that's my reasoning for it. Listen, and we got some great players out of this trade. Now, are they going to pan out in the long run? Who knows? None of us know. We don't have crystal balls. We can't see into the future. But the facts are this: we got Trey Sweeney, who has been, not great at the plate. He did have a 4-for-4 night the other night, but he's played shortstop at a very high level. Okay, and he's fit in well. He's not hurting the team any more than the previous guy. Okay, so that's So in that, eventually we're going to have to move into the future with these guys, okay? I think we all agree that Javi Baez's days are numbered in Detroit. So we needed someone to replace him. And it wasn't going to be Zach McKinstry. Kreidler's not the answer either. Who else? There's nobody else that can fill that spot on the 40-man roster right now, I don't think. And it was just time. It was time to bring someone in to fill that gap. And we got Sweeney in that deal. And he's been serviceable. He's been solid in the field. And I think his bat's going to pick up. I really do. And then the other player we got for Flaherty, and I will probably mispronounce this, Theron Lorenzo, has been just dynamite down in the minor leagues, hitting the ball. He played here in Midland with the Loons. He's in. I think he's cracked the top 100 now. We have 6 players in the top 100, I believe I read. So Harris is building a very solid minor league system. And unfortunately, the only way to really do that is, you can draft. If you draft well, great. But you need to trade, right? And that means you trade your good player. You trade the players that are good, because you're going to get good players for good players. And Flaherty was on a 1-year deal. So, unfortunately, with the mystery of would he sign back with us, or are we going to be left empty-handed, you got to trade him. You just got to. You can't end up with nothing. Now, would it be great to have him down the stretch here? Absolutely. Absolutely it would be amazing. But I cannot stress this enough. And I know a lot of people hate AJ Hinch because of the Astro situation, okay? The guy did his time. All right? He did his time. We got to let that go. Now, would I be saying that if it was the Yankees and AJ Hinch was with the Yankees? Probably not. I'm a hypocrite. But we just got to let it go. And the way he's managed this team this year has been amazing. We've had 2 guys in the rotation for the last, month? And we're like 16-5 in the last 21. We're 3 games out of the wild card with that. But we do have that Twins have that 1 game advantage on us, so technically 4. But if we could rewind to the deadline, if we had the capabilities of rewinding to the deadline, and the future us told then us that you would be 3 out of the race for the last wild card spot, we would have laughed because this team had no offense. All right? We would have laughed. And who's to say that in the grand scheme of things with the Detroit Tigers' luck, that Flaherty's arm wouldn't have just broken. It would have fallen off. That's what happens to us in Detroit. So I will never say Harris was wrong in trading Flaherty. Did it hurt? Of course it did, because he seems like a really genuine, decent guy, and he just pitched great for us. And he's gotten better with the Dodgers. Crazy as it sounds, he was 7-5 with a 2.95 ERA with us over 18 starts, 132 strikeouts, which is a 32% strikeout rate, and that career high of 14 against the Cardinals. Great game. In LA, if I got the correct stats, he's 5-1 with 50 Ks and a 2.61 ERA. So yeah, I mean, he's pitching very, very good. That's not to